I broke up with my fiancée after she showed a startling change of behavior after getting engaged, so I proposed to my girlfriend Emma last December. We'd been together for 3 years, living together for 2, and everything felt perfect. She said yes, we posted the ring photos on Instagram, her mom cried happy tears over FaceTime, the whole thing. But literally the next morning it was like I was engaged to a completely different person. First thing she did was grab my laptop while I was making coffee and start looking up wedding venues. Not browsing casually, I'm talking spreadsheets with color-coded pricing tiers and availability charts. She had 17 browser tabs open before I even finished grinding the beans. When I asked if we should maybe talk about budget first, she just waved me off and said, "Don't worry about money, this is our special day." Within a week, she'd booked appointments at 4 different venues without telling me. Just sent me calendar invites like I was her assistant. When I said I couldn't make it to the Tuesday afternoon one because of work, she actually rolled her eyes and said, "I guess I'll have to handle everything myself like always." Like always? We'd literally been engaged for 6 days. The wedding planning consumed her entire personality. She quit her book club, stopped going to yoga, barely talked to her friends unless it was about wedding stuff. Every conversation became about centerpieces or whether we should do a chocolate fountain. I'd try to bring up normal things like how her day was or if she wanted to watch a movie, and she'd somehow steer it back to whether we should invite her dad's brother, who she hadn't spoken to in 5 years. The worst part was how she started treating everyone around her. Her sister offered to help with invitations, and Emma snapped at her for suggesting the wrong shade of blue. Her best friend Jess mentioned that maybe we didn't need a 7-course dinner, and Emma didn't talk to her for 2 weeks. She made the poor girl at the bridal shop cry because they didn't have her dress in the exact size she wanted immediately available. But the breaking point came when we went dress shopping. Emma found this gorgeous dress that looked amazing on her, but it was $800 over what we'd discussed spending. When I gently brought up the budget, she completely lost it in the middle of the store. Started yelling about how I was ruining her dream wedding and how she'd been planning this day since she was little. The other customers were staring, the sales lady looked mortified, and I just stood there thinking, who is this person? On the drive home, I tried to talk to her about how she'd been acting, told her I was worried about the stress, and how much the wedding planning was changing her. She turned to me at a red light and said the most chilling thing. Well, maybe if you actually cared about making me happy, you'd stop questioning every decision I make. The way she said it was so cold, like I was some obstacle to her perfect day instead of the person she was supposed to be marrying. That night I called my buddy Tyler, and he just listened while I explained everything. He was quiet for a long time, then said, "Dude, this sounds like you're seeing who she really becomes under pressure, and you're gonna have a lot more pressure in marriage than wedding planning." It hit me like a truck, because he was right. I started paying attention to other things I'd been ignoring. How she'd been short with waiters when our food took too long. How she'd made passive-aggressive comments about my sister's cheap engagement ring. How she'd gotten annoyed when I wanted to spend Saturday helping my neighbor fix his fence instead of tasting wedding cakes. The final straw was when she demanded I ask my boss for 3 days off to go venue shopping in Napa. Not requested, demanded. Said if I really loved her, I'd prioritize our wedding over my stupid job. This was a job I'd been working toward a promotion at for months, and she knew it. I realized I wasn't looking at wedding stress anymore, so I sat her down 2 months after the proposal and told her I couldn't marry her. She immediately started crying and asking if it was about the money or the venue or her dress. I explained that it wasn't about any of that stuff. It was about how different she'd become and how she'd been treating people. She called me crazy, said every bride gets stressed and I was being unreasonable. We broke up that night.